Tonight's special edition, there are two beards, Chris and myself. Austin is on location at a wedding, so we might get a special report from him later on. We'll see. So how's everybody been? Chris, how's it been going for you?
Everything is good.
Nice. So we're going to be talking about the Denver International Airport tonight. First thing, most people are going to be like, what? Wait, what? That doesn't sound very interesting. But the crazy part is there is actually a lot of conspiracy theories that surface around the Denver International Airport. It's one of those, if some people have been there, some people probably listening have been there on layovers. I mean, nobody really thinks about it. I mean, it's just, but the airport itself is a massive complex. To kind of put it in perspective, for anybody that doesn't know, it's about 29 miles outside of Denver is where it's located. It sits on 54 square miles of land. We're here in Central Florida area. That's bigger than Disney World. To put it in perspective, for anybody that's in the area. So this airport is massive, 34,560 acres of land. To compare it to a few other airports, like anybody that's flown into Atlanta, they know how big that airport is. That's only on 4,700 acres.
It's extremely smaller than that airport. That is the largest airport in North America.
Yeah, and Dallas Fort Worth, anybody that's been there, that's a huge airport as well. That's only 17,000 acres. Beijing is a massive complex. That's only 11,520 acres. The only airport that is larger than the Denver International is I think it's King Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and it's about, I think it's 4 times as large as Denver International. Just in sheer size of the complex. But I mean, just perspective, in the middle of the United States, here is this massive amount of land that's used for an airport that, I mean, they already had a functional one, so nobody really knows why they needed to build this massive a complex. But that's
on top of a complex.
Yeah, that's where the conspiracies come in. Is why is it so big? You're like, yeah, it's, my wife even brought up a great point. She's like, it's amazing that actually had somebody that planned for expansion for growth. I'm like, yeah, but this one is just like, this is like excessive planning. I mean, you could put 4 or 5 of these airports in this land. I mean, they have 6 runways. I mean, the cost to build this airport was estimated to be $1.7 billion. It ended up costing over $4 billion to build this airport.
They were $2 billion over budget.
Yep. And that's kind of what you alluded to. One of the conspiracy things is, so they started construction, controversy already. Like I said, we've already got a huge, little side note before I get to that is, I forgot to bring up, this airport is half as big as the city of Denver itself. So you can put half of the city of Denver in this airport. That's how big this complex is. So I mean, just to get the idea is just how massive this area is. So back to the thing. So construction starts. They take this land. It is just way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, like I said, it's a ways away from town. They build it. They build the initial 5 buildings on the ground. They've excavated down. That's part of the controversy is, why are you excavating this ground? You don't need to. Just build on top. It's already a flat area. You don't need to excavate. Well, they've excavated in some areas over 120 feet deep. Well, they build these structures, and after they've cleared the ground, they've built these structures. Mysterious income happens, and there's a problem with the buildings. They aren't usable. So instead of tearing these things down, they bury these buildings and they build the current structure on top. So now you have this whole subterranean level, which the official thing is it's 4 stories, but based off of math, some of these things 120 feet down, you could potentially have up to a 12-story building underneath this existing structure. And so it's so the conspiracies are like, okay, why didn't they turn this? Why didn't they tear this down? And it's it is. Oh, hey Chris, do you have feedback coming on your side? I'm getting an echo. But it's they build this huge structure, and then they've covered it. And so the back to the conspiracies part is where you have, why didn't they tear it down? Why did they just bury it? And why is the official story that there's only 4 stories underneath the ground? And there's a massive tunnel complex. There's, in order to get between the concourses, you have to take a train system. Well, there's many of these train systems.
Many of them.
Yeah, and that, tunnels everywhere. I mean, to where I want to say, God, I think I might have the number wrong here. I don't see it right in front of me, but it's over 5,000 miles of fiber optic cable is on this property for the Ethernet system for this thing. So just a massive amount of infrastructure. Solar farm over, I think it was started in 2008, but to date, they have built 10 megawatt capacity, which 16 million kilowatts of power per year, but that only covers 6% of the total power usage of this airport.
They're building power so discreetly, so people who can have power that's underground, and the airport will go black. But my theory is that they're going to have power underground just where they need power at.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it's we can get into those things. I mean, it's just here's this massive structure that's way bigger than, is even needed. I mean, this thing is just huge. They've got solar farms that you're building it, but it clearly isn't, they're not building enough. I mean, they've got the room, but they're not building enough to cover the entire thing. It's almost, when you start getting into the conspiracies, it's almost like it's a backup system, just with the limited amount. I mean, under the guise of green energy. Fuel capacity here, they have 6 massive storage tanks that each hold 2.73 million gallons of jet fuel.
So that's the biggest fuel reserve in any airport in the world.
At least, yeah, I know for sure in the U.S. But this is, so there's this huge stockpile of jet fuel, solar farms, buried structure, and that kind of leads into, one of the conspiracies that this is, safe haven. This is a, fallback bunker for the global powers to be, that when things go down, whether it's a world conflict, society meltdown, whatever, this is a place where the elite can go to and they're protected because they've got all these resources. And there's other conspiracies that kind of fall off this, and that's what we're going to kind of talk tonight, is that there's, whether or not, you believe any of them or I believe in them. I mean, there's some that I could see, they're plausible. There's other ones that are just like, yeah, that's weird. But we'll kind of just go over all the top conspiracies that are, held about this, this thing. So it's just, the first one, we'll kind of touch on it because if anybody that's looked at the profiles, they'll know that Chris is a Freemason.
I am, yes, indeed.
And one of the main conspiracies is that this is, kind of like a headquarters base or whatever for Freemasons for the coming battle between, because they think the Masons versus the Illuminati. There's, global power struggle, and that the Masons have been kind of setting this thing up. It's one of those, some parts are a little far fetched. I mean, I don't think there's a world dominance plan by a group that goes around helping kids in Shriners hospitals. And other charitable organizations that are suddenly, they've got a devious plan to take over the world with another group. But you may know more about that because you're part of the organization, sir. So you may be a plant that was put on this program to keep me from getting any further into the truth.
No, there's no
What
hidden
do you
motive.
say to that accusation?
That's a lie. I really say that's a lie. But there's no hidden motives in Freemasonry. But I just see I'm looking over the cornerstone that they laid. They had two lodges lay the cornerstone. The Most Worshipful Union Prince Hall Grand Lodge of FNAM of Colorado jurisdiction. That is the hate to say it, but it's still divided. That is the black side of Freemasonry. So they invited them on it. So I wonder, are they coming together in this congregation as far as a New World Order or something that I haven't unlocked yet in my Freemasonry walk yet? But I don't know. I mean, because they use the Most Worshipful Union Grand Lodge of AF and AM of Colorado, which is that is considered the mainstream lodges of Freemasonry. They got their charter from England. So that is considered the mainstream lodges of England. We got a charter from England as well, but maybe that'll be discussed in another episode. But the cornerstone is very interesting. They put a time capsule behind it, and they didn't want it opened up for mathematical. They mathematically planned when they wanted the time capsule open, and it converts back to Freemasonry. So there's 33 degrees.
Yeah, well, see, that's that. The 33 degrees. That's kind of where it kind of breaks into like the plaque. One that said the conspiracies, and I'll help you on that with that. It shows when this dedicated plaque was laid was March 19th, 1994, and there's a time capsule in there that isn't to be opened until the year 2094. Well, the conspiracy is if you add 20 plus 9 plus 4, you get 33.
33. That's the highest.
33 Mason
That's the highest degree of Freemasonry in the United States that is
that we know
known to
of.
the United that we know of.
That's for another show. Yes. So, so we've got, you've got that one. There's a bronze plaque that's right above this that has, the compass, has a symbol, but then right next to it is what they say is Braille. But from some of the stuff I'm saying, it's like it's not Braille. It's like it doesn't mean anything, if you know how to read Braille. So that's one of the other conspiracy theories is that this is an unknown. Is this an unknown language? Is this some sort of coded, you know, you know, just message that at some point it's going to be deciphered, but until that point we don't know. It's I apologize if you said it or not, but the New World Airport Commission. I don't know if you talked about that on the bottom.
Never heard of that. That I reached out to some other people that I know. That's one of my Freemason brothers, and I don't know why they put that on there. I mean, maybe it's something that we don't know. But the New World Airport Commission, did they start a new Masonic endeavor there? I'm
Well, and
not
that's
sure.
oh, that looks. Hey, we've got Austin on here. Hey,
Working live.
live. So live on location. What do we got going on, Austin?
I am.
He's got horrible video.
Why is this working?
It sounds like it's raining where you're at. All right, we'll get back to Austin. All right, so the New World Airport Commission. So
Shit, maybe
was it?
that's the New World Airport Commission that's interfering with our signal.
No, there he is. Austin, you back?
No, I think that's the New World Airport Commission messing with his signal.
It looks like we're not going to be able to get Austin here. Maybe he keeps trying, but anyway, we'll go. So the thing for me is like the New World. Does it mean this is a New World airport?
Oh, you're live.
And then with a commission. interesting. So yeah, sorry, we're having technical difficulties trying to get Austin in there. So we might have to forego it unless he can get to an area where he actually has a signal. So, all right. Yeah. So like I said,
Austin, can you hear us?
I think we lost him. We won't worry about it. We'll have to try again later.
Well, he can go live with just audio. We'll try that.
But what they're saying is the symbol, the New World Airport Commission, is accredited with helping fund and build the airport. But who is the New World Airport Commission?
Nobody knows, and that's where I'm saying this. The only when you type it in, you search it, all it does is links back to this plaque, this thing at the airport. So is it, how when you do something that's a commission? I don't know if we got Austin. You there now?
No, maybe.
You're kind of, man.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Maybe. Okay. You good? All right. Look at this awesome Nannie Cakes cake, man. You see it?
Oh, there we go. Nice. Now, is that the wedding cake picture of?
Vanilla. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, I had yeah. It was she made almond and vanilla, right?
I made almond and vanilla.
Okay.
Oh, there's Nancy.
Hi, my name is Nancy Vert, and I am the owner and cake creator for Nannie Cakes.
Nice.
We are at a wedding right now, and I made the wedding cake.
Very
And
nice.
I just wanted to show you a piece of it and
Awesome.
let you know that I make all kinds of cakes for celebration cakes, birthday cakes, baby cakes, any kind. 923-2898. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, thanks. Nice coming on. Cake looks amazing. So hopefully Austin's bringing a piece for us. All right. So yeah, it was Austin. He's at a wedding right now, and so he wanted to come on and at least show like what an actual piece of cake from Nannie Cakes looks like. So this yeah. So kind of back to the commission thing. So are they calling this a New World Airport? And that they are commissioning this thing as a New World Airport, or is it actually referring to this was done by the New World Airport Commission, as in like it's a group, or was this the group is New World Airport and they're commissioning this as their facility?
I mean, we'll never know. There's so much top secret and secret places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm almost tempted to try to go to a restricted area. Like, hey, what's going on here? I mean, I'm a Freemason. Can I find out what's going on? Like, what's really happening?
Yeah, no, it's so there's so we continue on. I mean, there's some of the weird things, like if anybody's ever looked into it, you might take a chance right now, Google images searches and look up art that's at the Denver airport. We're going to touch on some of those weird things. We're going to start with it's the statue that's only it's commonly referred to as Lucifer.
Lucifer.
It's a giant statue that sits outside the. Let's see, I'm trying to get up this. I've lost the stats here. I apologize. I'm not sure where my sheet is, so I'm trying to look it up super fast. But it's
32 feet tall and 9,000 pounds. It also killed the creator of it while they were putting it together.
Luis Jimenez. Yep.
Luis Jimenez. It severed one of his arteries or whatever, and he died in the construction of the statue.
Yeah, and it's crazy. This is one thing that Chris will be able to help with. Is it's kind of I brought it up today talking with him. My theory: this statue is a giant blue Mustang, and it has glowing red eyes and red veins, as you can see up it that are only visible at night. It is also known. It's supposed to symbolize the fourth horse of the apocalypse, which its rider was death. So we have in front of an international airport a 32-foot statue of a death horse.
But see what happened to its owner. His owner got killed doing it, so maybe it's doing its deed. But I mean,
So,
the only thing that converts that to Freemasonry to me is the color. I mean, we don't have a horse; we ride a goat. So if it was a big blue goat, then I'd be like, yeah. But I mean, it's red, and then it glows red at night. So is it symbolizing the first 2 degrees of Masonry, which is 7 degrees? I mean, I'm not sure on that one because it's not going into details. It just tells you there's a big blue Mustang that sits out, and its apocalypse is death. So
yeah,
they
it's the
leave.
fourth
They're
horse of
leaving,
the apocalypse. You know, the rider upon it is death. Is named Death.
and
Pretty
I
much.
mean,
Yep. And then, like I said, so it's kind of weird. There, another statue that sits outside of the airport is a giant statue of Anubis, the Egyptian god of death. So here we got 2 giant statues out in front of an airport that are symbolistic of death. So I said it's already starting to get really creepy, as in like why some of this stuff was selected. Because in an art exhibit, stuff's crazy. But I mean, we're talking about an airport here. I mean, it's just the Mustang, great, but I mean, it's just a giant blue one with red glowing eyes, red veins. Looks like it hasn't eaten, and it's one of those. I said, and then you have a statue of Anubis, and then you walk into the airport and you've got this, what they call a grotesque. Is this devil-looking gargoyle that's sitting inside of a piece of luggage.
yeah, I don't know the symbolization of that, but
No,
okay.
that's what I said. So there's some of this artwork that's just crazy, and then
Because I convince you, Craig, us Freemasons, we don't sit in luggage, so I can convince you. I
yeah,
don't.
yeah, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but then then you get into the murals that are in there that are, I mean, they're pretty crazy. I mean, messed up. Everything from one that shows a line of women holding that look like they're grieving, wailing, holding dead babies, while this Gestapo looking communistic soldier with a gas mask with this scimitar sword is sweeping down, and at the tip of the sword is the peace dove that's been speared with it. And so you're looking the symbolism where it also comes for the Masons. The sword that he's swinging is a scimitar, which is the same thing that's used like in the you see on the
The
Fed's cap.
ancient Arabic order.
Yep. And so so here's yet another slight nod to Masonic symbolism in a mural that's supposedly showing I mean, just a sweeping it's hard to explain what it would be. I mean, it's in the artistic style. It's really just like I said, go Google images, search up Denver International Airport murals, you'll see it right where. And then another one, it shows a whole scene of children from different areas of the world with weapons that look like swords and stuff wrapped in the country's flags, and they're bringing them to a central location where I'm not entirely sure, but description you could kind of see it, what looks like a German child hammering those weapons into something on an anvil. And that's also where people say, okay, so what's with the symbolism? Is this something about tied to a Nazi, type, theme, for a conspiracy? Because Matt just put up the stat. There's also, if you look, the runways are laid out in a swastika.
But maybe the artist just had a really bad day. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they said, go in there and paint us a whole bunch of paintings, make us some more murals. Maybe the artist was like, eh. I mean, I don't know.
No,
Everybody.
yeah, no. I mean, these ones would be, like I said, would be considered, because they're, I mean, these would be considered works of art. I mean, because like I said, I mean, they're well painted, but it's just, the scenes of a burning city, a forest on fire, Dove is, Dove has been killed. All these women holding, children that are dead. I mean, it's just, I mean, you go through the murals, and it's creepier and creepier, and it's just, you start to wonder, as you're going in an airport, the last thing you're wanting to see is Death Horse, the god of death, and then you're walking in seeing murals about death. You're like, this isn't gonna give you a calming feeling that you're about to board a plane and take off. So it's really, just even on a non-conspiracy thing, it just seems like a really weird set of artistic choices for an art commission to select. I mean, it's just, I mean, I could, a horse statue, a normal one, like a bronze statue, cool. But I mean, the god of Anubis, an obelisk. I mean, there's just all this stuff you see in their art, and you're like, this is weird. This is really weird.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna bring something to some other people's attention. The cornerstone is a Freemason ritual that we do for most buildings. If you look at every church, every courthouse, most buildings have a Freemason cornerstone in it. Now I'm gonna open your. You're gonna be like, honey, let me stop and look at the. Yeah, there's a cornerstone at mostly every building that you'll see. You can even Google it. Like, they do like a ceremony, and you lay a cornerstone. The first brick of the building is usually the cornerstone. So the cornerstone part is not super conspiracy, but that new airport order is like something I've never heard of. But
Yeah.
what is really striking my attention is how you got AU and AG in a wall tile that's in like a commerce.
Isn't that crazy? Because that's you beat me to that one too. But it's just a random tile. It's not tied to anything else. And let me see if I can bring it up my phone and hold it up there so people can see it real quick. But Chris, if you want to describe it to them while I'm doing that.
It's like a cart. Remember the cart on like Jumanji or Dukes of Hazzard where they're going down the railway, the rail car, and it's got gold or whatever, and it's in a mine. It's one of those, and it's got AU and AG. One stands for gold and one stands for silver. But the crazy part about that is, if you look at it, and it stands for a gas, which is a toxic gas.
I hope
So
everybody can see that. So that's what right
I
there.
It stands for a toxic gas in one other meaning, one other abbreviation.
Australian antigen is it's
Australian antigen. It's a toxic gas. So are they telling you that we're going to gas all these people in the airport one day? I mean, who knows? But it's getting crazier and crazier.
so here, like I said, here's a random thing. I mean, is another just artistic, just some artist is weird, like, hey, I'm just going to do this, and nobody's going to really know what the meaning of it is, but it's just going to make them all think. Yeah, so it either means gold and silver in a mine cart, Denver, lots of mining up there in the mountains, makes sense, but it's at the same time, it's just, you're like, it's random. It's not tied to anything else. It's not like it's in front of some other exhibit. It's just a random tile with its inlay. So it's really weird. And that's what we touched on another one. Another weird thing is called the underground tunnels. There's several, it's a friend of a friend told me who talked to one of the guys that used to work on the project, because anybody that works on this project signs a non-disclosure agreement. And that works on the construction on this project. So if you were a construction worker, whether you were excavating or doing anything, you had to sign a non-disclosure form that you could not tell what was going on down there. And these are the same type of disclosures that people that work at Area 51 and other government facilities have to government facilities. So it's that leads to these conspiracies where these tunnels supposedly, And Chris, I'm sure, have you ever heard of the Cheyenne Mountain Complex?
Yes.
Okay. The Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station, along with this Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Complex, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex is the home of NORAD. It's 90 miles away from this airport, and there's rumors that there is a high-speed tunnel system that gets you from the Denver International Airport to the Cheyenne Mountain Complex.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
secure tunnel, like a high-speed train type thing. So the rumor is that, you know, one of the rumors, like I said, that you dive in, you see, is that this tunnel system, that this gets you between, you know, this is a go-between. And some, you know, when I was mentioning this to one person, they're like, why the airport? And, you know, and I brought it up with you in Austin a few days ago too, about when we were discussing this. You know, think about when you're in an airport, you're walking around, you just want to get your connecting flight. You're not paying attention to the guys that are walking in and out. You know, you see a lady and a guy, or you see, you know, just normal airport people walking in and out of doors. You're not paying attention to that. You're sitting there waiting for your plane. You know, you see a black car, you know, or some airport van go flying by. You know, you don't think anything of it because it's normal to see that. Well, you know, the conspiracy part of this is that because of this is so massive, people can come and go out of this place without being seen. And that's, you know, and so when you have this massive underground complex, there's people that are come and go. I mean, there's even conspiracy theory that the CIA was looking to move operations to this location. You know, I don't know if that's true or not. As I said, it seems, you know, far fetched. I mean, it seems like you'd want to be more towards DC where the, you know, power is, but you know, they're just trying, you know, people are trying to grasp it. You know, why do you build 5 buildings, not tear them down because there's a problem, just bury them, connect tunnels all between them, build this massive underground tunneling system for luggage, and it's, you know, and so you can transport stuff. And I go there. It kind of lends to that. There's got to be something that this is designed for, or is currently being used for. I mean, myself, I honestly, I'm honestly a believer in this tunnel system because I've talked to Matt before, and I think I mentioned to you guys. I haven't talked about it here on the podcast, but I'm a big believer that there is some sort of underground system that, you know, whether it's a high-speed train, but something to where personnel stuff can get moved subterranean and not above ground. You know, because there's just a lot of stuff. You know, Matt posted up there, and I've kind of mentioned that before, that there's rumors that some of these tunnels are large enough for a 747 to move back and forth. That, I mean, they're massive in size, and so, you know, you're building a huge tunnel system. You got to move the dirt somewhere. That's also part of the conspiracy thing. What do you do with all this extra dirt that you're bringing out of these tunnels? Well, we had a problem with the thing. We had to bury it. So you have all this extra dirt. You know, you can hide it that way. I mean, you go through, and it goes from, you have everything from the really extreme, that bronze plaque with the unknown symbols is an alien language. There's aliens, to in the subterranean. It is kind of a hub where we are interacting with the subterranean lizard people. That was a really interesting conspiracy theory. That one was out there. I have to admit that one. I'm not sure if I'm on board with the lizard people into the ground. Not sure if I'm there yet.
Not too sure about that
I don't
one.
have my tinfoil hat fitted just right for that one yet. But, you know, I mean, but the tunnel system between this airport and NORAD, especially with all the secrecy and stuff, I could totally buy that. I could totally buy that. This is, you know, because you move, somebody flies into Denver International, they go into a nondescript, you know, they take the thing, they go into underground, hop on the train, boom, they're off to the government complex. Never seen them. You know, it just, and that, I think I'm not sure if I skipped over it, but yeah, that Cheyenne Mountain complex, that's where NORAD is located. and that's the North American Aerospace Defense Compound. That's the one that controls all of the maritime and aerospace warning systems that warn if we, ships, planes, anything is possible threat to the North American area. So it's a huge military facility, and so this is so that this has potential connection here to that Denver International Airport. So it's one of those, just on face value, it's just kind of like, it's a boring, it's a boring, just normal airport. You're just coming and going in here, but then it's between the creepy death art, the gargoyle sitting in your luggage, and then it's just, here you have a facility that is occupying the space that, other major airports are on, but they have, 29,000 more acres of land to just be, that are just sitting out there. So, I kind of touched earlier, like the global elites, that's one of the ones. You've got the fuel, you got the solar power, you got the underground bunkers, you've got the tunnel system that takes you in and out of Cheyenne Mountain, which is a highly secure, buried in a mountain from nuclear attacks. And you have all this land with 6 runways. So it kind of also lends a little credence to, what if this is, like a global elite sort, cabal, whatever you want to call it, organization, that this is their plan, and that if things go down, they can all fly here in their planes, land.
Yeah.
There's places to park all those planes. They've got a place to live underground. They're up high in elevation, so even if there's, something if you have biological warfare or whatever, they're down below. They're not. All that stuff's below them because they're up so high in elevation that the air is going to be cleaner up there. So you have a chance. You have a chance, but you have an actual facility that potentially is set up for this, like a base for everybody to come to. I said that one, and the tunnel system, just shuttle black ops, whatever military stuff in and out, without being seen at the military base. I could buy both those. The other one that's weird, I don't know if you read about the concentration camp, the FEMA. Like, this is considered a potential FEMA concentration camp.
Yeah, in most of the Wally worlds.
Yeah, that one's. I'm not quite sure about that. The only one that leads me to think that, what would really cause them to do that, and I don't know if you saw this in the research, but there's an excessive number of sprinkler systems in these tunnels underground. There's nothing that can burn. Concrete tunnels, and they've got like excessive shower heads. That's typically kind of what they, sprinkler heads.
He said shower heads.
I know. That's what sprinkler heads. But that kind of leads to like concentration camp thing. It's like where like the gas tunnels.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of Freudian slip there. It's that so you have the sprinkler heads, but the other one that I noticed too is because anybody that's seen like barbed wire fence, you always angle the top of the fence where you don't want things to come over the fence.
Yeah.
So in some of the areas on the airport, that barbed wire is facing
the opposite way,
facing the door.
Not
away from the door. It's facing the door. So why? The only reason is you're trying to keep something that's in from getting out. So it's so that leads to, okay, so what's down there? Is it something that's down there now we can't let get out, or is it something that eventually could be in there that we can't let out? So it's really and so it's one of those strange where I don't know. I mean, because it doesn't make any sense. You don't lock in a facility so you can't get out. You lock it so that way people can't get in.
Yeah.
And that you don't. So it's kind of an interesting thing. It's, as I said, we'll probably touch on that later times, but getting by the time we got to wrap it up here. But any last thoughts from you on the airport?
No, just no, not really. I mean, I just would like to go there one day and investigate. You down?
Oh, I'm sure. I think next time I fly home to visit family in Oregon, I'm gonna try to make sure that we have a layover in Denver. I'll go take a picture with the grotesque and some of the murals. And I'll be like, see, these are the ones we're talking about. And then, Chris, of course, I'll be like, see, this is his mugshot where he got arrested because he tried to jump that fence.
I'm good at jumping fences.
So, well, as always, thanks everybody for watching. This episode has been brought to you by Kelly Brott's Beard Care, as are these beards are brought to you by that. The key lime and apple butter are my scent, and blend that I love to use. Chris, yours is what? Old Havana? Is that the one you like?
Old Havana, smell like tobacco, baby.
Yeah, that's that was a nice one. Austin really liked. It was a limited edition Island Breeze. I think Kelly still has a few of those left. All natural beard soap works really great. It's not harsh on it. Doesn't strip everything out. It just gets it nice and clean. Ready to apply that oil again. Just work that into the beard. Works really well. We're also, and then, especially when you got to clean that beard after you've been just chowing down on Nannie cakes, like Austin's going to have to do. It's going to have to clean that beard. It's going to be all sticky, covered in frosting.
Free beard rides.
Yeah. He was, as soon as he got off camera, he was into that cake. You know it. So he's going to have to get that beard all cleaned up. So, everybody take a chance, go to brottsbeardcare.com, check him out, use the code capital, 3 capital B, for beards, and you'll get 20% off there along with Nannie cakes. Let her know you heard about us, sauce 3 beards. You're also going to get a discount on, I think it's 20% as well on her cakes. Got the phone, should have the phone number. I apologize. I don't have that memorized. But she's, just give her information, like I said, what you need, and she's really good about getting right with you, letting you know what you need. Check us out, threebeardspodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Everybody that's watching, please take a moment, like it, share it, send it out there, help us grow. Because the more people that sees this, the more chance we have of getting out there, and more people can come over here and watch and laugh at us. That's the goal. That's the goal, is get more entertainment.
And next public service announcement, make sure you all have a great Turkey Day tomorrow. And
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope everybody has a good thing. And as always, good night.